Well, in Lebanon, Christian-Muslim relations are worsening over Hezbollah's attacks on Israel. Recently, a well-known Christian politician who publicly opposed the terror group was murdered. Well, now the Christian community is more worried than ever about their safety. George Thomas brings us the story.
A Syrian gang is believed to have kidnapped and murdered Pascal Sleiman, a strong believer and senior member of the Christian Lebanese Forces Party.
The army intelligence are currently working with the Red Cross to recover his body from Syria.
Experts here see it as a political assassination linked to Hezbollah, meant to frighten the Christian community and whoever else opposes the group's fight against Israel. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah took to the airwaves shortly after the government announced Sleiman's murder, accusing Christians of stirring up chaos.
They are not people of truth, nor people of justice, and they do not care about the national interest, civil peace, or anything. They are people of strife and seek civil war.
Christians feel caught between the Jewish state and the Islamic terror group. The two enemies last fought in 2006. Here, along the valley of Playa, a Christian community in South Lebanon, the folks I have spoken to cannot believe that Israel and Hezbollah are once again at war. In fact, this is a region that has seen war for more than 50 years.
We're struggling in all aspects, no matter who the players are or their agendas. Regardless of which country they're affiliated with, at the end of the day, the number one loser in all this are the Christians of Lebanon.
Hezbollah, meaning the Party of God, wields significant power in Lebanese society. They control parts of Beirut, southern Lebanon, and the eastern Bekaa Valley region.
The basic goal of Hezbollah is to distribute the Islamic revolution and to take over Lebanon and establish an Islamic state in Lebanon. War against Israel serves this goal.
When you look at this map and you look at Hezbollah today, what keeps you up at night?
Everything.
Former IDF intelligence officer Sarit Zahavi is a leading expert on Hezbollah. She says even though Lebanon has the Middle East's largest proportion of Christians at roughly 30%, Muslims dominate the landscape, with the Shia wielding the greatest influence. Hezbollah is Shia, and their power runs deep throughout Lebanon's political structure, including the military.
Half of the combat soldiers in the Lebanese army are Muslim Shiites. They're not going to clash with their brothers in Hezbollah. You can have a family that one is serving in the Lebanese army and the other one is serving with Hezbollah.
It's why many Christians like Joseph feel vulnerable to their attacks, intimidation, and persecution. We are concealing his identity for his safety. A few weeks back, Joseph discovered Hezbollah firing rockets across the border from his farm.
They keep using our land as a launching pad. They assemble their missiles here, then fire them into Israel.
In this exclusive interview with CBN News, Joseph told us that he repeatedly asked the Lebanese army to intervene with no success.
We don't want our land to be a staging ground for war between these two parties. We take no part in this. What's happening in Gaza is not our war.
Oklahoma Senator James Lankford sits on the Senate's Select Intelligence Committee. During a recent visit to Israel, he told CBN News the Lebanese government and army have failed to stop Hezbollah from weaponizing the South.
They have over 100,000 missiles that are pointed at Israel right now, towards peaceful areas, towards civilian areas. So Israelis live under the constant threat that at any point Iran could say go, and Hezbollah will begin firing missiles in from an area where there's not supposed to be any weapon systems at all.
UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which ended Hezbollah and Israel's last conflict in 2006, mandates that the Lebanese army, with the help of UN peacekeeping forces, is supposed to disarm the terror group, move its fighters north of the Litani River, and conduct joint patrols of the region. None of that has happened.
the United States needs to continue to put pressure on the Lebanese government to be able to push them to say, what happens from Hezbollah is happening in Lebanon. You are responsible for what's happening in your own country, and allowing a separate military to be able to threaten Israel, and at the whole time to say, well, that's not our military, that's a different military, doesn't work.
This incident sparked outrage among protesters who have begun destroying cars in the area.
Sleiman's killing has sparked a flare-up of Christian-Muslim tensions here, leading to talks of possible civil war. Lebanese authorities have arrested 7 in connection with his murder.
The Lebanese army's main mission is to prevent a civil war. And Hezbollah made it very, very clear that anybody will try to a little bit damage its power in Lebanon, it may deteriorate into a civil war.
George Thomas, CBN News, reporting from Jerusalem and South Lebanon.
Well, it just shows the utter failure of the UN here and their supposed mediation of peace and creating a ceasefire zone, a weapons-free zone. It hasn't happened at all. And the reason is the ideology that they firmly believe in the Muslim community in Lebanon. And this is in the Muslim community in Iran. This is in the Muslim community in Gaza, the Muslim community in the West Bank. That is their religious duty to wipe Israel off the map. Until we combat that ideology, that is fundamentally wrong, we're not going to see peace in the Middle East. It's going to continue to morph, and whether it's in Lebanon or in Syria or in Iran or in the West Bank, it's going to continue to grow and flourish, that you can have a whole series of war wins. You can win every single battle, but not win the peace. And the reason is the ideology. Looking back at history, you go back in history to where Lebanon was the jewel of the Mediterranean. Beirut was one of the world's greatest cities. They absolutely flourished, and then the PLO moved in the early 1970s. Civil war happened after that. That radicalization that we have to mobilize to wipe Israel off the map, all of that happened then. Can we go back to the previous time? The answer is yes, but you don't go back. You go forward into a new thinking that we can live at peace.